Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Woman! Exactly. The year is 2005. Still, again, this is a complicated episode. Do you know why? Not because of the concept, not because of the source show, not because of the source material. It's because of the history behind the show of Doctor Who. All the way back to the second serial, not series, not season, serial of Doctor Who, which means like the second batch of connected episodes forming a single story. The Daleks, written by Terry Nation. You know, this was what put Doctor Who on the map. The Daleks were so bloody popular that the show became an instant hit overnight. Yeah, okay. Unearthly child and the cavemen and all that stuff. It was a good setup. It was not bad. But the moment the Daleks appeared on Doctor Who, history was made and kids were screaming exterminate at each other on the bus and
actually really creepy.
That's it. The show was in the bag, basically. They stuck with the show for over 50 years. That's mental. But here's the thing. Terry Nation, the writer of the Daleks, the story, that's me, he actually managed to keep the rights to his creations. It's not something you hear very often nowadays, or, you know, at all, when it comes to creators and, you know, the product they write for, but that's the thing. Subsequently, the Daleks have always been part of the Terry Nation Heritage Fund, meaning that Doctor Who does not own the Daleks, which means that they license them from the Terry Nation Heritage. So, in 2005, when the show came back on TV, they didn't even know they could use the Daleks. The Doctor's most iconic enemy, and they didn't know if they could use him on TV. There had been written a story, a draft about this, that was going to reveal that the monster, the Metaltron, in the basement, I'm getting ahead of myself here, was going to be a Toclophane, you know, from Series 3, human head sent back from the future, killing its predecessors because it only knows how to maim and slaughter. Yeah, it would have been a pretty disastrous reveal, like, oh what we got here. But, like, I believe, like, on the last minute, they got the okay. And we got 2005's episode, Dalek, written by Robert Shearman. Welcome to Doctor Who Exactly, a vlog show on YouTube, which is just me talking to a camera about a show I watch. So the episode Dalek, by the way, the mummy's curse is subsiding, so it's not as bad as it used to be. If you don't know what's going on, never mind. So, the episode Dalek, written by Robert Shearman. Robert Shearman has written for Doctor Who before, most notably his story for Big Finish, the audio adventures of Doctor Who, Jubilee. It features the Sixth Doctor and his companion Evelyn, and they end up in an alternate timeline when human beings use Dalek technology and they become the monsters. Ooh, spooky, scary stuff. It's a really good audio story. Big Finish has some real belters, some of my favourite Doctor Who stories of all times. But Jubilee was so good that for the revival of Doctor Who, Russell T Davies decided to ask Robert Shearman, the writer of Jubilee, to bring the Daleks back to the modern age. This man did it brilliantly. He's only written this one episode, and it's an iconic episode of the entire franchise. It's probably one of the most important ones. It does away with all the jokes. It tackles every issue that the public had, like, you know, the general misconception about the Daleks are just silly buggers, because the Daleks, they've never really been treated as jokes.
Help me! Help me!
The other way.
They mostly never been really treated as jokes. The Daleks, even though that in their last appearance in Remembrance of the Daleks in the 80s, they were deadly serious, emphasis on deadly, and they were doing all these kinds of things that the public, you know, forgotten about, because in the end, we all live in a meme culture, and it seems like memes are like this modern thing, oh, like, haha, Doge, such wow, many enjoyment, things like that. A meme is more than that. A meme is a public conception of a shared memory. This is what mimetic mutation, which is what Richard Dawkins came up with. No, seriously, Richard Dawkins came up with the word meme. Things like football chants in stadiums and Daleks can't go upstairs and knock knock, who's there? Those kinds of jokes. These are all, in essence, they are memes. They are shared in a public group and everybody knows them. So everybody knows the Daleks are these silly buggers with egg whisks on their arms and plunges, and they can't go upstairs. And yeah, Robert Shearman actually asked his wife, who didn't take him seriously when he said he was bringing back the Daleks, all the silly stuff about them, and he tackled every single issue she came up with. They can't go upstairs. Here, the Dalek flies up a flight of stairs. They got suction cups for arms. The Dalek crushes a man's skull with one of them. Egg whisks. Dalek lasers. Everything that people had about the Daleks, they were just the one Dalek, a common foot soldier. And it was made deadly serious. But I'm getting ahead of myself, I do believe. The 2005 episode Dalek is about a Dalek, and the Doctor and Rose, they end up in the far distant future of 2012, which would make Rose 26. Yeah, this episode uses like the 20 minutes into the future kind of things. And here we have Henry Van Staten, who's like this Elon Musk type figure who has more money than he should do, and he thinks he's more clever than he is. And he has a vault in Utah, a bunker filled with alien technology and remnants. And in it, his most prized collection, a Metaltron. Apparently, he named it himself. It seems like Henry Van Staten is the cause of all the B-Monster movie names from days past, because Metaltron is the best he could come up with. Great. The Doctor and Rose arrive and they manage to trigger the alarms, because the Doctor never been in a museum before apparently, and he touches the display case and the alarms go off, and yeah, Rose immediately managed to, you know, give a segue into the title credits like, oh, collector of aliens, that makes you suspect number one. It's like, Rose, lady, woman, you could have not mentioned your friend was an alien, okay? Especially with the people with all the guns right in front of you in a museum filled with alien remnants. Not very clever, but you know, it's one of those forced writing bits that leads into credits, or, you know, it's like a teaser tagline. Henry Van Staten gets called in because he was in the neighborhood apparently, and he was on a helicopter bad wolf, and he confronts the Doctor, and the Doctor immediately shows off how clever he is by showing that it's alien technology that Henry is playing with. It's just a musical instrument. So Henry does the most logical thing. He puts the Doctor in the same room as his most prized possession, the Metaltron. And it's a relatively short period of time before this episode takes, you know, the effort to introduce us to the subject of the title. The Doctor gets put into a room, and it turns out it's a Dalek. The Doctor's being all doctoring. He's like, I'm the Doctor, I'm here to help. And the Dalek is like, Doctor, the Doctor. And he goes mental because every Dalek instinctively hates the Doctor. And this music cue, Every episode we've watched so far makes me miss Murray Gold so badly. This man is a magician when it comes to, you know, cues and themes. Oh, it's so good. I miss this man so much. The violin strings and the high-pitched whine you hear when the Dalek recognizes he's standing in front of the Doctor. Ooh, chef's kiss. So the Doctor realizes this Dalek is impotent. He can't do a thing. He's just damaged and war-torn. And we get the theme of the Ninth Doctor comes to the forefront quite presently. He is a war survivor, and this Dalek as well is a survivor of the last Time War. And they are the same. And the Doctor hates this. He hates being the same as a Dalek. He hates anything he has in common with them. And he goes mad. This is what I loved about Christopher Eccleston. When he walked into a room, you don't know if he's going to talk at you or if he's going to dick you in the nose. And yeah, the Doctor is not supposed to be violent, but he really seems like he's got a hair-trigger temper. And this episode just makes me, ooh, I miss him so much. I wish we had more Christopher Eccleston and Ninth Doctor. Would have been so fabulous. So the Dalek talks, and immediately all the guards rush in, and they like, oh, you made him talk, make him talk again. And Dalek stops talking, obviously. This kind of leads to the Doctor telling Henry Van Staten everything about the Daleks. He's like, this thing is dangerous, they wiped out my people. And then Henry Van Staten is like, your people, you're an alien too. And then we get shirtless Christopher Eccleston. This is quite a bit of fan service, and lots of people love this. Christopher Eccleston was apparently very hesitant to do this because he says he's both skinny and fat at the same time, and he doesn't like getting naked. Well, Christopher, speaking for many people, I don't think anybody really minded you taking your shirt off. So yeah, the Doctor's being tortured. It's awful. Henry Van Staten sees he's got two hearts, and he's immediately thinking of a way he can patent this. Apparently you can patent double vasculary systems, I don't know. Rose in the meantime has been off chatting up this lad called Adam, who's also British, and he's quite clever. And Robert Shearman has gone on record that he modelled Adam after himself, and at least with great irony he realises that he may not have created the most likeable character ever. Adam is supposed to be smart and clever, and nobody likes him. Yeah, too bad for Adam. Rose likes him a bit, and he's a bit pretty, and he shows a camera feed of the Dalek, but she doesn't see the Doctor, who is supposed to be in this room. So she has Adam bring her to the room with the Dalek, getting past security clearance, who knows how. And we get a terrific conversation. We get the Dalek, and the Dalek is saying like he's alone, he's in pain. Everybody fears him despite the fact that they are torturing him. So he's their prisoner, but everybody fears him still. And Rose doesn't fear him, and he at least appreciates that. But here's the thing. We never really know how much of this is truth and how much of this is a lie the Dalek is trying to spin to get Rose to do what he wants, because you don't know what he's trying to get at. And this is quite clever script writing. It's like I made a joke on Twitter saying that this is an abusive relationship and Rose should get out while she still could. And okay, it's dark humour. I make some dark humour jokes sometimes, but in hindsight, I think I struck gold there. I struck the actual theme here, because this is exactly what the Dalek is doing. He's trying to abuse Rose emotionally in a fashion and get her to do what he wants. And he gets out of it what he wants, and Rose is just sad all the time. The Dalek absorbs part of her time-travelling DNA. I don't know exactly what the technobabble behind it is, but she touches him, he absorbs her DNA, and because of this time-travel DNA, he can re-energize himself. And now we get to the meat of the episode. The Dalek proceeds to break out. Everybody's on the run. The Doctor gets freed by Henry Van Staten because he's the only one who can stop this creature. But it turns out nobody can stop this creature. One singular Dalek, the episode titular Dalek, slaughters over 200 people. The Dalek revels in showing other people his works. He turns on cameras so that people watching the feeds can see him do his dirty work. He wants people to be in awe. He wants people to be feared. Because this Dalek is alone in the universe. It's just a soldier. It has no orders. So it does the only thing a Dalek knows. Exterminate. The Doctor is so frightened, so panicked, he's willing to shut down the entire base and lock Rose Tyler, his best friend at this point in his time and life, behind vault doors just to make sure this Dalek doesn't escape. Adam managed to... Now we get to the bit somewhere that the Dalek is cornered by a flight of stairs and it says the words, "Elevate!" And even though Daleks were already flying upstairs back in the 80s,
Open the door! Hey! You are the Doctor! You are the enemy of the Dalek! You will be exterminated! Exterminate! 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 Exterminate!
this is such a good moment because everybody, your misconceptions about these creatures gets thrown out the window. Adam manages to get away even though Rose doesn't, and this Dalek is unable to kill her, and he doesn't know how because her DNA is changing him. He's becoming an abomination onto the Daleks. A Dalek with human DNA is not a Dalek because they are obsessed with racial purity. His madness is undoing himself. His ideologies is undoing himself. The Doctor is led by Adam to a secret stash of weapons and he takes up arms, and it doesn't sound very doctory to take up guns. And I know he's done this in the past. The Doctor has used sonic rays and pulsar blasts and Cyberman weapons against them, but the Doctor just getting a gun and going to blast the Dalek, that's not what the Doctor does. The Doctor outwits people, the Doctor talks Daleks to death, the Doctor has the Daleks destroy themselves. The Doctor does not grab a gun and blow up a Dalek with a Dalek blowy uppy gun. Rose and the Dalek, they bond again over some weird fact that the Dalek is just suffering. It is suffering because it exists now. And what is the last thing it wants? It wants freedom, so Rose takes it to the highest level she can, so it can see the sun. And anybody who knows this show knows that this concept of a Dalek wanting freedom is so alien, and not alien because it's a tentacle monster with the one eye. It's weird and untrue to its nature. It's becoming something more than just a Dalek. The Doctor pulls alien bazooka on Rose and the Dalek. Rose stands between the Dalek and the Doctor. He says to her, "Get out of the way, it's dangerous." And she says to him, he's not the one pointing a gun at her. Christopher Eccleston sounds so sad and pathetic when he says, "I couldn't. I wasn't. Oh Rose, they're all dead." It's like he literally suffers from trauma, and it's just only this moment clicking that he's suffering. The Ninth Doctor carries with him great sadness, and again, I wish we could have had more Christopher Eccleston because his performance in this is just so good. And then we get the Dalek who wishes to die, but it can't kill itself. It needs to be ordered to kill itself. But in order to be ordered to kill itself, it's commanding Rose Tyler. It says, "Order me to exterminate myself. Obey. Obey." It literally is only communicating in the only way it knows. Commands and orders. It's commanding Rose Tyler to order it to die. Daleks are messed up. It's sad and pathetic. And it kills itself, and it's just... What the hell did I just watch? Henry Van Staten in the meantime gets his mind wiped by his minions because he led to the death of 200 people, which, real life reflects art, art, real life mirrors art, I suppose. And the Ninth Doctor and Rose are about to leave in the TARDIS, and Adam is like, "Oh, we have to leave because, the vault's getting shut and everything's getting filled with cement. Doctor, why are you and Rose in a box? What are you standing in a box for?" Because, despite the fact he knows he's in a museum filled with alien technology and this box wasn't here, last time he was there, but I digress. Adam, you absolute puffin. So yeah, Dalek. Dalek is probably my favourite episode of Christopher Eccleston's series. And it has very little other competition. The only things that come close are The Parting of Ways and Bad Wolf, I think. Christopher Eccleston is a fantastic actor, and we should have had more of him. And Dalek is a great way to showcase how dangerous these creatures can be. Unfortunately, they also suffer from the ninja versus zombie law. Whereas, one zombie is not dangerous, but 1,000 zombies are. 1,000 ninjas aren't dangerous, whereas one ninja is. The Dalek's next appearance would still have them being taken seriously, but, to the Doctor, a singular Dalek can pose an entire episode's worth of a threat, whereas 100 million Daleks can also pose a singular episode worth of a threat. Yeah. Anyway, I'm happy Dalek exists. It's probably one of the most best ways to introduce somebody to Doctor Who. If you want to show, here's a random episode, this is the best episode to show them what the Daleks are about. Yeah. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. That's where the comment section is for. We're going to do another rewatch because we're all still in lockdown. And I suppose we could call it a clock down, like on a mantelpiece, and then there'd be a clock and it would stop ticking and it just, yeah. See ya.
The lesser races conquer the galaxy, unimaginable power, unlimited rice pudding. Unlimited rice